Hey everyone, it's Lorraine with Lorraine Murray Fitness, and I'm super excited to be here talking to you today about taking care of yourself while taking care of others, part 4. So we've talked about many things in the past few days that can help you take care of yourself while you still take care of others and not neglect the fact that you are important. So today we're going to talk about a bedtime routine. We talked about a morning routine in the last one and how to deal with that, but going to bed and having a routine set for that is super important too. It sets you up for a good night's sleep and getting quality sleep versus not sleeping, staying awake at night, all of those things that prevent you from having a good night's sleep. Having a bedtime routine can help eliminate that, and it just sets you up for a good rest, guys. Who doesn't want that, especially moms? I know I do. So we're talking about just being calm and peaceful and having quality sleep today. So let's start with a bedtime routine. It might sound silly, you're like, those are for babies. But no, there's a reason we do those for our kids, and we need to take that practice and put it into an adult form so that we too can go to sleep knowing that, turning our body into the idea that, okay, it's bedtime, my body needs to shut down and I need to go to sleep. That's the idea behind putting our kids to bed, and that's the idea of putting yourself to bed. It's the same thing, it's just a big version. So the first thing I recommend doing, set an alarm clock. If you guys could see my phone, I can't show you right now because I'm videoing this on my phone, but if you could see my phone, I literally have alarms for like everything during the day. I have an alarm to wake up, I have an alarm to pick up one kid from school, another kid from school, a bedtime alarm. It's ridiculous. I have an alarm for everything, but alarm signal, we've been trained to have alarm signal doing things, right? Like if an alarm goes off, we know something needs to happen. So there's no difference with a bedtime routine. I really suggest setting an alarm on your phone for 1 to 2 hours before bed. And what this does is this signals your brain to go, okay, time to switch gears. It's time to get ready for bed, and I need to start going into my bedtime routine so that by the time it's time to go to sleep, you've done your routine and you are ready to get in bed, turn out the lights, and go directly to sleep. So I say 1 to 2 hours. It just depends on who you are and what your needs are. But for example, I like to try to be in bed and like going to sleep with the lights out by 10 o'clock. So around 9 o'clock, I set an alarm. Sometimes I've played with it a little bit, and you will need to as well because you have to figure out what works for you. It's not going to be like, oop, 9 o'clock, perfect schedule, perfect, done. Not going to happen. So mess around with it. But 9 seems to be good for me. And what that does is if I'm watching TV, if I'm on my phone, if I'm reading a book, because I get sucked into books really easily, it signals, okay, stop what you're doing. You need to stop. You need to get off the computer. You need to turn off the TV, and you need to start your bedtime routine. So set an alarm. The second thing, we talked about it so many times in this whole series, but I'm going to say it again. Turn off the electronics. Turn off the television. Turn off the tablet. Turn off the telephone, whatever it is. And there's reasons for this. One, they're super addicting. And if you're on your phone in your room or you're looking at email, how many times have you gone, oh my gosh, like 45 minutes have just passed, and now instead of going to bed at 10, it's 10:30 and I haven't even started my routine, or I've just done half of it. And then you're losing quality sleep, and we're trying to get better sleep and get more sleep. So that's another reason that you should turn off your electronic devices. Another one is they emit blue light, and blue light messes with your internal clock. So if you shut those down and you're not on those, your internal clock will start to regulate, and you will get rid of that negative blue light. If you've ever read it, you should read about it if you haven't. It's the light that emits from anything that's backlit is just really not that great for us. So turning it off before we go to bed can help signal our brains to shut down and calm down. Another one is, I know for me and for my husband, if we work in bed, if we're looking at emails or whatever it is, you go to bed, now you're worrying about what's coming tomorrow. You're stressed out over some situation that's happening. So working in bed is just a horrible idea, and I really don't suggest it. Just stop doing it. It's really bad. And they also stimulate your brain. I mean, how many times have you watched a show on TV and maybe it's like Law and Order or something, by the way, in case you care. I've stopped watching all shows like that. But people do, and anything will stimulate your brain. But like, let's say you're watching Law and Order and there's like a crime scene. I mean, who wants to go to bed when they just watched a crime scene? Or, you're reading the news and something negative happened in our country and you just go to bed feeling kind of ugh. So just turn them off, guys. Get rid of them at, an hour before bed, and just watch how your sleep gets better. 2, your relationships get better, guys. There's a reason it's a bedroom, and there's a reason they say keep it to the bedroom. Keep it to the bedroom. It's special there. It's special, and you can make it an environment that creates better relationships with your spouse. 3, try reading or doing some other relaxing activity. Maybe reading isn't your thing. I love reading, but again, I have to set a time limit because I'll read till 2 in the morning. But, read something, pray, meditate, do light yoga, but not intense yoga. I mean, I'm talking like, some stretching, things like that. Something that's going to relax your body and just get your mind in a good, calm place. I don't recommend reading like maybe a mystery story or a murder book or something like that. Do something that's calm and relaxing and peaceful. The experts, for the next one, the experts always say, keep your room cool. I struggle with this because I tend to wake up when I'm cold. But again, it's not perfect for everyone. It's not designed for everyone. So, a lot of experts say keep your room between 65 and like 67. I've seen some that say 70. I have to be on the higher side of that because literally I wake up shivering, and obviously that's not doing anything for my sleep. But if you haven't tried it, I suggest before you get in bed, turn your thermostat down. I think most people do this actually, but Steve and I are a little weird. But try it. Turn your thermostat down. If you're used to having it set at like 73 at night because you keep it warmer during the day, or, you don't turn the air on as high in the summer, like drop it down so that you're cooler at night and see if that affects your quality of sleep, and adjust it as needed, mess around with it. And 5, this is for the women out there, you moms and you women's. I know I have asked my friends, and it happens to every single one of us. We're in our bedrooms, we're on our phones, or we're just watching TV, and the light turns out, our husbands try to fall asleep, and we're like, and our entire day gets thrown at their head and in their ears while they're trying to go to sleep. But for whatever reason, we can't seem to talk until the light's off. So instead of doing that, add this into your bedtime routine before you turn the light off. Make it an effort to talk to your husband before you go to bed, so that when the light goes off, you actually are prepared for sleep. So all of these things need to happen before you turn that light off. You need to talk. You need to get those frustrations out and, talk about maybe a fight you had with one of your friends, or maybe the kids stressed you out really badly. Don't wait until the light turns off. Talk about this ahead of time. Be like, hey, listen, for me, Steve, listen, I need to talk. I need to get this out. My brain needs to just brain dump everything on you. And yes, you'll hear the word brain dump from me. That's taking everything that's in your head and spewing it out to someone. Or if you have no one to talk to that night, get a journal and just start writing all of the things that you are just thinking and that are running around in your head, keeping you awake at night. Write them down or talk to someone and get them out. And this is just a sample. This is kind of things I do before I go to bed, but there are tons. You can look up tons. Anything that you think of that would just relax you and help. Maybe you don't like reading. Maybe you're going to journal. Maybe you're going to keep a notepad there, so when you're sitting there doing your nighttime routine, you're like, ooh, genius idea for tomorrow for work, and you're going to write that down so that you don't have to hold it in your brain overnight. You can wake up and be like, okay, there's my list of things I thought of last night while I was getting for bed. And then it frees up your mind so that you can just go to sleep instead of holding all these thoughts in that you think you have to remember until morning. But whatever your nighttime routine ends up being, you're going to have to play with it. You're going to have to try things and eliminate them. And my routine will not look like yours, and yours won't look like your husband's, and your husband's won't look like your best friend's. But these are 5 things that you can do to start. And if you need more advice or want to talk about it, send me a message and we'll chat or comment and I'll message you. But plan something, plan a routine, and do it consistently, just like you would do it for your kid. And it's going to take a little bit because, as you know, if you have kids, it doesn't work the first night or the second night. But after you've been doing it for a month, when you're reading that bedtime story, when you're brushing teeth, when you're sitting there cuddling and singing nighttime songs, it starts working, and they get that signals bedtime. Like, when I'm done with this, I get to go to sleep. And your brain will continue to get in that same pattern, and the more you do it, the more your body will be like, okay, bedtime's coming, okay, light out, sleep. Give it a shot, guys. What do you have to lose? If you're not sleeping well, what do you have to lose? But besides the bedtime routine, it's important to be aware of what you're doing during the day. You can't just treat your body like poop all day long and think that magically it's going to go, sorry, I'm itchy from allergies, but it's not going to just go from crazy all day to sleep at night. And we need to take care of ourselves. I know you guys know this is important, but we're going to talk about it again because of how important it is. So there's some things that you can do during the daytime to prepare yourself for a good night's sleep. Number 1, exercise vigorously. Light exercise is great, but the more you are exercising and the harder you're exercising, the more your body works out, it gets stimulated, it gets the energy out, but it gives you energy at the same time. But by the time you go to bed, you're tired because you've worked yourself hard. Our bodies were designed to work, and we need to work them. Of course, there are variations on how you're going to work out, or the different, how vigorously you can work out. There's limitations. But even walking is good, but I really challenge you to up your intensity. See how it works whenever you do this, but you have to be careful of when you exercise. I'm actually going through a hard time right now, I think, with my sleep because I've been trying to work out with Steve and we've been doing it in the evenings, and it makes it harder for me to go to sleep than when I was working out in the mornings. But it's what we're doing right now, and it keeps Steve on track and it keeps me on track, so I'm sacrificing. But I suggest trying to work out in the mornings or earlier in the afternoon so that you're not wired before you go to bed as well. Another one, watch what you eat and drink during the day. You need to limit caffeine. I know as moms, drinking 100 cups of coffee a day seems like a great idea to stay awake because you're not sleeping well. But the very thing that you're doing to stay awake is probably one of the very things that's hindering you from getting a good night's sleep. So I would suggest start limiting that caffeine. If you can get off of it, you're actually going to be more energized and you're going to sleep better, and the cycle continues to get better and better. So limit your caffeine. Another one, avoid big meals at night. Your dinner should either A, be earlier in the evening, or B, it shouldn't be your biggest meal of the day. When you eat big meals, your body has to process that, and it sometimes can cause us to not be able to go to sleep very well at night. Limit processed food. We know this, we say it, we all know, but I mean it. Limit the processed food. That stuff is filled with crap. I'm not saying it's not in my house and that my kids don't eat it, because sometimes they survive on goldfish and chicken nuggets because they're kids. But limit that for yourself. Try to eat vegetables and fruits and complex carbs and good proteins, and watch your body start to change. It's not going to happen overnight, but when you continue to fuel your body with the good foods, your sleep is going to get better. And with that, avoid sugar. Avoid all of those creamers that you like to add in your 100 cups of coffee. It's not good for you, and your body doesn't like it. If you need to have something in your coffee, try honey, coconut oil. I know it sounds weird, but there's a whole thing that we could talk about with coconut oil and how it's amazing and how it's good in coffee. Maple syrup though, honey, agave nectar. There's other alternatives to creamers that you could use that are going to be better for your body. And the last thing I want to talk about is, I know it's so tempting to nap because we're not getting a good night's sleep, which is why you're watching this, to find out how to get a better night's sleep. So then we nap. And the problem with napping is a short little nap in the middle of the day can be good, or in the late morning, but napping can just give you too much energy, and then when you go to bed, I know Steve struggles with this a lot. If he naps, that guy can stay up till forever. I, on the other hand, can nap and go back to sleep. But you have to limit your napping. You don't want to be sleeping really for 3 hours a day unless you're sick probably and trying to catch up on sleep, because that just interferes with your sleep schedule. Same with your kids. If this is hard for you to understand how this is important for you, think about your kids. Think about all the things you do with your kids, and at some point as they're getting older, you limit their napping because, like with Payson, the kid needs a nap, but if I give her a nap, I sacrifice her going to bed. If she takes a nap, she will not go to bed until like 10:30. And then we start this vicious cycle. So sometimes we have to suck it up, be miserable for a few days while their body adjusts, and get them to bed earlier. And the same applies to you. If you stop napping, yes, you're going to be tired and you might have to go to bed earlier, but it's going to get your sleep schedule and your sleep cycle on a better one so that you actually sleep at night when we're designed to sleep. So, your routine is going to be unique to you. And the things that you're going to do during the day are going to be unique to you. And you're not going to get it right the first time. But I promise if you start applying these things, and you consistently do these things and you adjust where needed, you have to give it some time and see if it's working. But if it's not working, adjust it and try again. And I promise you that it might not be the perfect solution because there's 1,000,010 variables of why you might not be sleeping at night. But this is something you can do with no money. No extra money to buy a new mattress or go see a sleep doctor or add any medications in or anything like that. But try these first and see if they start helping you. Give it a shot. You have nothing to lose. And see if your sleep quality improves and if you start feeling better. And it's all a cycle, guys. The better you sleep, the better you eat. The better you eat, the better you sleep. The more you exercise, the better you eat because you worked real hard. And the better you eat, the better you can exercise. And it all goes round and round and round and round and round. And they all are so important to one another. And I just encourage you to give it a shot. And let me know. Let me know how it goes if you do this. Let me know if you have something in your routine that, just works so great for you and you want to share it with other people. I'd love to hear about it. Again, if you have any questions or you want to talk about it more, just send me a message or comment and I will message you. But again, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you learned something new and I hope you can apply this to your life in some way. Feel free to share it with anybody that you know that might be able to use any of this information. And I will talk to you guys later. Have a good day.